Hello, Serge here from the back porch. I recently did a video, a daily video, answering a question from Dan Swan too, and he asked two questions in his original comments, and I said I did one, and I said I'd do a second. So here's Dan Swan's second question. Is there a place in the swing for a conscious pronation of the forearms in the follow-through, or is this one of those Golf Digest tidbits that clutter the landscape? I don't like this kind of micromanagement at all, but every so often I wonder. Well, wondering is how questions get answered, how problems get solved. And so I will say that, I will stop by saying that, Dan, curiosity killed a cat, but in this case it's not gonna kill us, because it's gonna get the good answer that you're looking for. We're gonna get that out today. The basic point is that yes and no is the answer. Yes, there are conscious times to do it, and no, once you get it, when you're just hitting a normal shot, it should be just part of your swing feel that you're doing to hit the ball relatively straight. Now, there is always a rotation, and if it's built into your swing, I guess we could say it's partially conscious. So as we know, the arms rotate, both arms rotate in the shoulder socket. The arms are connected in a ball and socket joint in the shoulder socket, and they rotate. And as you can see, they got a fair amount of rotation, not quite 360 degrees. When I put them together, they work. Both hands and arms rotate exactly opposite each other, as I call it, diametrically opposed. Okay? And so if we want to hit a ball relatively straight, and because we have all this rotation, we have to control the rotations of our arms to control the rotations of the club, which will control the flight and the shape of the ball as to how much it curves, if it curves, and whether it just goes straight or not. Now, you know that we control these rotations basically on the concept of, in the takeaway, we lift the club up, and we're starting with the toe first, and we put the club into the catcher's mitt, toe up. The mitt is basically just inside, just slightly inside the aiming line, and somewhere up in the air, depending on one's height of their body and the length of their arms. So that'll differ. The point of the mitt will differ based on those factors, the person's height and the length of their arms. So once I take the club back in the catcher's mitt, toe up, and then I lift the club straight up the tree, so that we turn to where only our leading arm is over the toe line, so that the club, and we want the club up here nice and vertical, which is light. Now, we know that the concept for starting the downswing, or as I prefer to call it, the forward upswing, happens where we ring the bell and bump, so there's no pausing or hesitating at the top. As we're coming up, we ring the bell, and the lower hips, the lower body, the knees and the hips have a lateral shift, and that starts pulling the arms down at the impact, and then the hips will be slightly open at impact, shoulders relatively square to the aiming line, because that's what returns the palms perpendicular to the ground. And if my palms are perpendicular on the club and the face is perpendicular to the ground, that means at impact the face and the palms are square to the aiming line. And so at a ball being hit on, square and solid, the ball should start straight and stay relatively straight if I have a good finish. But here's the key you're talking about. Once I hit it, I swing into the forward mitt, toe up. Now that is a conscious rotation. Now, but I'm not thinking of rotating my arms. I'm just thinking of making sure that the club face goes into the mitt, toe up. So it is conscious, but I guess when I finally really get into the swing, I would say it's probably more subconscious, in that all I'm doing is thinking about in my mind's eye that I'm toe up here in the backswing, in the mitt going up, and I'm toe up there, and then it goes straight up over my shoulder. So sometimes we also refer to toe up, thumbs up, toe up, thumbs up, and then the thumbs go over the shoulder. Okay? So there is a conscious rotation. Now, the point becomes, there is a time when I have more consciousness in my rotation, and that's when I really want more hook, where I will rotate over, as I call it, over rotation, because the top hand, I should say the bottom hand, which would be my right hand, which is what I, as you know, if you've been around here on this blog long enough and read anything I've ever said or listened to it in videos, that I believe I hit the ball with a lot of right hand. I control the club face with the right hand. Whatever my right hand does with my palm here, the face does. So I control it with the right hand, and why not? I'm right-handed. I have more strength. I have more sensitivity in it, And as far as I'm concerned, it parallels the face. It is exactly what the face is doing, is what the right hand does. So if I wanted more hook, doing some setup changes or whatever I do to make it more hook, I could concentrate on a little bit more rotation through impact based on, and I do a whole bunch of other changes, and it's a little too lengthy to get into in this video, but it is on the new video I came out with called Working the Ball, and there's a whole 6 or 7 things that can apply to this, and whether you want to hook it or fade it. And so again, let us not take out the concept of fading to hitting cuts, fades, and slices. Over rotation, which the toe going over creates the ball for a right-hander to go left and hook and have any different degrees of draw, slight draw to a little bit more draw to a hook. And if I want it to go the other way, which would be cuts, fades, and slices, I do what I call under rotate. So yes, my forearms are rotating. Basically, for good straight shots, all we want is in the forward swing, in the catcher's mitt, toe up and up the tree. So it's an exact amount of rotation. We have to have this exact amount of rotation as compared to, say, baseball and many other sports, because golf club face is flat. A flat ball hitting around, a flat club face hitting a round ball will put a lot more spin on it than a round, say, baseball bat hitting a baseball will put spin, but nowhere near the amount that you get flat hitting round. So that's why it's important we control our rotations. And so yes, you are absolutely correct. There is a conscious pronation, but it's making a conscious exact amount of pronation to hit the ball relatively straight, and then for the degrees of draw or fades that we want. All right, hopefully this answers your question. It's a little bit more intricate than just doing it, because just doing it without controlling how much you do will start getting you some really wild offline pulls and blocks that then slice and fade. And remember, I've always said, if you can hit the ball relatively straight and it never starts, wherever it starts, it never moves more than 5 to 10 yards from where it started, how bad can you hit bad shots? Unless you're aimed off the world, you can't hit the ball off the world if your balls go relatively straight and never move more than 10 yards right or left of where you started them. You have to be hitting good shots, relatively good shots, and keeping the ball in play. And so that comes from consciously pronating just the correct amount. Toe up here, to toe up in the catcher's mitt, and straight up. Toe up, thumbs up. You do that, and you hit the ball relatively straight, control your balls, and really start shooting those lower scores. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.